stop watching sales training. Let's talk about it. I wanted to talk about this topic because I've seen it time and time again from teams that I've worked with, reps that I've worked with on teams, them following multiple sales trainers, watching a bunch of sales training, always trying to develop by just learning a different thing from a different person who's hottest in the algorithm that week, has led to them being some of the lowest performing members of their team. I've seen it time and time again where the guy who's like never taken a sales course, just has some raw sales experience, comes in and is just listening to exactly what leadership is saying and or the top performer on the team is doing. And they're also crushing and outperforming the person who is trying to take their sales trainer stuff or multiple sales trainer stuff and bring it to a team that's already performing well or already has a proven record of good performance. And this is not because the sales trainers are bad. This is not because what the sales trainers are saying is necessarily wrong in most of these cases. But what it comes down to is the rep not being very good at actually being able to do that sifting through of advice. They're not very good at self-diagnosing calls to the point where they can say, I'm going to take this from that trainer, take this from that trainer, take this from that trainer, and form this nice cohesive process. What usually ends up happening is they just throw it in this pile and it's just junk. The whole call becomes junk because of this mashup that they're trying to utilize on these calls. And then they take, the results or the testimonials or the following of those multiple trainers as reason to not listen to what is proven in front of them. And then to now, be a stinker on the offer. So what I want to say is if you are a closer or a setter, and even if your sales manager, even if the business owner doesn't have the same sales pedigree, doesn't have the same track record as your favorite sales trainer, it does not mean that you have the green light to ignore the proven track record that they've done within that business, right? If that person is closing at 30%, 40%, whatever the percentage is, if they are profitable, no matter what, the first thing you want to do when you join a new team is not bring all of the fluff from your various trainers. It's fall in line with what is working. And then you can slowly make iterations to see if you can build upon a working foundation. That is how you take sales training from whoever it is you learn from, be it me or anyone else, is you build upon the working foundation. Because most of you getting on offers, if it's a good offer, you're not being called in to build a sales process from scratch. You're being called in to facilitate and maybe improve the sales process, but you have to start with that working foundation. I don't care if it's 20% close rate across the team. You come in, you do what they're doing. Let's say you end up in that 18, 20% range, and then maybe you implement slight changes one at a time. Don't come in with a whole new process. Change one at a time. Maybe change the way you pitch. See how that goes over 10 calls. Maybe you change the way you frame. Maybe you change the way you find the problem or probe. Maybe you change the way you do whatever. You handle certain objections that are common for that offer. Change one thing at a time. Do some split tests and slowly iterate upon what that team is doing. And you better come out with a better close rate. Like it better, if you are going to stand firm on it and do it for an extended period of time and then have an ego about it when, someone reviews your call, maybe sales manager or business owner, if you're going to do that, you better be performing well. You better be outperforming the norm, the base KPIs, right? And if you're not, if you're going to come in with your own process completely, and this is my opinion, if you're going to come in with your own process and bulldoze away and say, forget your process, your script, whatever it is you have for me, I know my way because I learned from X, Y, and Z trainer and he's a millionaire, you better come in and start outperforming immediately, because if you don't, you're going to look foolish, right? You're going to look foolish. So this is not me to say don't follow sales trainers. This is not me to say don't buy sales training. This is not for me to say don't listen to sales advice. I just want you to have a better way of implementing that sales advice when you're jumping onto a team, because time and time again, people have lost opportunities with great teams, with great performing companies, because they are coming in with an ego from their past sales trainers. So have a better strategy for how you're going to implement the advice. Don't just come in, especially if you're coming in with a mashup, right? If you're coming in and you're like following one sales trainer's process end to end, sure, maybe. If that trainer's got like a bunch of experience selling in the same niche or something like that that you're jumping into, sure, maybe. But especially if you're gonna come in with a mashup, like I took the frame from this guy, I like how he handles this objection, I like how this guy does discovery, I like how this guy pitches, and you just came in with a Frankenstein, you better outperform or don't. End of rant. I'll leave it there. Hopefully that helps. See ya.